short hike is a cozy little game about, well, you guessed it, taking a hike.
Wrong! Oh, you thought this was just a sweet game?
No, I won't let you!
There's no need for all this
Hi,
philosophical
my name is Yuru,
crap.
and without further ado, let's get into it.
What?
Jen is a purple bird child with a turquoise shirt. She can be seen on the beach near Aunt May's cabin. As soon as we interact with her, she yells, addressing us as you, then exclaiming some more to find her 15 clams. She denies any question thrown at her, further remaining her right to stay silent in the matter of the secret clam market in the local area. As we know, clams are a limited resource, and if we are to include seashells as a sort of clam, then by removing them we're actively participating in the massacre of the local crustaceans, as they cannot survive without their shell. However, a counter-argument might be that we don't officially see any crustaceans in the game, so it may or may not be legal. It's very debatable. She's often crude and rude, asking for favor and labor without a reward or an award. And that's a rhyme. Okay. Once the seashells have been delivered, she refuses to give us anything and asks for yet another favor. And as we complete the task of delivering the seashell necklace to Aunt May, which, mind you, she made with our own shells, we are only given 10 clams, thus making her a rude, underpaying boss. Now that's some business for you, alright? She truly is an underlying of an opportunistic capitalist. Shovel Kid, or the secret governor I should say perchance, is a bright green frog that can be found sitting in Sid Beach. We learned that he's trying to build sandcastles, but since we need the shovel from him, we trade him a smaller one to obtain it. After some time passes, it appears that he has built a sandcastle city. He tells us that he was running for mayor in a highly contested election. The results are in and he got 3rd place. Okay. He shows us true colors, expressing details for his subjects, as he, in his opinion, owned the right to be on the throne because he built the city with his own blood and sweat. So why weren't people voting for him? After more time passes, we can see that the city has become a province. Also, he's running for premier in the province elections. So once he's elected, he can use his influence to assert complete dominance and take over the city as a whole. And his first legislation would be in support of consolidating his allies. And the second, free candy to all.
Oh wait! If you call now, we'll double the offer!
Okay, so there's socialism? Kinda? Nevertheless, he's an authoritarian dictator through and through. The rock climbers are in association with Tim the squirrel and Alex the rhino. They can be found near Froggy practicing their skills. Now here's the deal. Not only do I think that Tim would make an amazing prof at the Great School of Exaggeration, no one's gonna get that inside joke, but they have a narcissism problem as well. Let's look into the evidence, shall we? Example 1. When faced with criticism, they exaggerate their claims and accuse us instead. Example 2. When in hardship and or denial of current skills, they refuse to see us as we are. Example 3. Their mask only disappears when in desperation. Like here, as a response to a life-threatening situation. Also, when we return to him, he shrugs it off like nothing ever happened, and that he's the best at rock climbing. Like, sure buddy. And Alex is definitely the supportive dad here, as he's always encouraging Tim. So Tim's essentially just a shithead. And I don't really know where to put him. So maybe an opportunist? And Alex is Alex? End of conversation? Who wrote this? Ranger John is a white ram with the cutest sun hat. We get introduced to him as we need golden feathers to get to the top, which we can buy from him, although someone bought everything else, leaving us with only one available feather. How lovely. But thankfully, he left the sun hat. Off topic, but I got it immediately, cause like, fashion moment. Anyways, he's good and kind-natured. Also extra points for the painting, which we'll get to later. And because he's a ranger, that makes him a collectivistic socialist. I don't know what to tell you. You can take it or leave it. He's just lovely. The tough part is that someone, how dare you affect the local economy by hoarding all the feathers to yourself and then sell them for 100 apiece, which were originally just 40 coins. Also keep in mind that these feathers are essential to tourism, and it's highly suggested that it's the only economical source for this park. Anyways, this immediately makes him a dropshipper. Not mindful, not demure. But this could also indicate that the unemployment rates are so high that he had to resort doing this instead of getting a part-time job. However, we do learn that he was struggling to pay for tuition, which explains why he was desperate. I would know. I couldn't afford it either. Not in this economy. That doesn't excuse his rudeness towards us, but like, yeah, he's a realist and a pragmatic capitalist. Wait a minute. What if he's working with Jen to infiltrate both the clam and coin economy and then crash it to gain power and take over the war? Aunt May is a maroon bird according to the wiki. I don't see the resemblance, but okay. She's the one who brought us here in the first place. She's really sweet and supportive overall. I can definitely imagine a fluff fanfic between Ranger John and Aunt May. I should write it! Anyways, I loved going back to her every once in a while. And since she's also a ranger, that makes her a collectivistic socialist too. Sue's a white rabbit that has lost their lucky headband. She asks for our help as there's a marathon happening later, and she feels like she can't win or heck even compete without it. So we talk with Taylor the turtle, the regional champion. They give us their headband as they had been looking forward to racing with her. However, Sue immediately recognizes that it's not hers. But upon hearing that it was from Taylor, she happily accepts, saying that it had quadrupled the luck. Was the old headband no longer needed? Was it its fault that it was left behind? No! Sue willingly left it behind. Poor thing. Anyways, this makes Taylor an altruist, and Sue a dirty little abandoner. Nah, I'm kidding. This might as well be a prime example of letting go of superstition, and accepting that it was you who put in the work to make it far, not because of an inanimate object. Because once we return to her, she gives us her headband, as she's finally come to terms that it was her skills all along. And in terms of ideology, she's most likely an individualistic self-efficiency believer. Charlie is a polar bear, waiting before a campfire above the cliff. He tells the others that he still hasn't finished his novel, as he couldn't find an ending to write. The others quickly throw ideas at him, without even thinking whether he wanted it or not, much like how many writers are bombarded with ideas, as some like to think they can do a better job at writing it than the actual writer. But as he never asked for their opinions, he kindly requests them to shut the fuck up, making him an individualistic intellect. Avery is a polyanthrope. She doesn't really have any personality traits, nor any motives other than to race and race. So some might say that she's an opportunist, but in a more ethical way, if that makes sense. Picture guy is a red fox. We firstly see him trying to climb the cliff. Afterwards, them struggling to get to the top, as they don't have enough golden feathers. We offer them some, and make our way to the top together. As compensation, they suggest to take our photo. That being said, we can learn that being kind to others will also bring kindness to you, making them a karmic entity beyond our comprehension. A test of God, per se. What if you had left them? Would a painful death be waiting for you at the end of your journey? Who's to say? Bill the Walrus is a super chill guy, and despite only knowing you for only a short period, he's eager to help you learn fishing, so that you can earn money, thus to be able to provide for yourself, as well as contributing to the local fish economy as a result, making him a socialist humanitarian. Good for him. Permit Guy is a gray cat found in the camping area. Once we try talking to them, they panic and repeatedly insist that their camp is legal, before confessing that it is in fact illegal. Because a fish ate their permit. Yes, you heard that right. They bribe us with fish bait, but we do find the permit eventually in a fish's mouth. They become ecstatic and thank us, so all's well. Anyways, this kind of makes him an absolutist in terms of ethics, and a collectivistic humanist in terms of ideology, because despite the bribe, at the end of the day, all they care about is everyone's morality and safety. The painter is a meek raccoon. He firstly can be found on Shirley's Point. We ask what he's painting, but disappointed in this question, replies that it's the coastline but in a more abstract manner, and that he's still in search of inspiration. You later on see him near the lighthouse as he's painting it, and he asks for our opinion. We praise him, but he still seems unsure that it will fit into the exhibition, and that it needs something other than just being realistic. He later on goes to say that despite everything, it's lacking emotion, as realistic scenery painting doesn't add anything new to the table. But we deny that claim, saying that it makes us happy, especially for those who live in the city. It's not every day that we get to see something so beautiful. This is very much like Bob Ross in a way, as he too was casted aside, as merely being a scenery painter in the community. We attempt to cheer him up, but since he's still in denial of his self-worth and artistic values, he doesn't say much as he still needs time to think. After a while, he appears to be painting in the rain. He shares that he doesn't have anything as good as the others with their contemporary art, which explains why he was painting in the rain in the first place. We asked that he should take a break, but he replies with, "I need to show people I'm worth something," which hits so hard as a fellow artist. He's later on seen to be painting Ranger John, as he's also a part of the park. He appears much more cheerful now, as he's finally come to accept that he can just paint what he likes most, and that people would appreciate it as much as him, since sincerity is most important. At least we get a wholesome ending. I think this also makes him an individualistic intellect. Now, the ultimate beast stickball player. He doesn't have a name, okay. Beachy and Julie are two characters found at the beach stickball court on the northwest end of the island. As you can probably guess, they have invented a new game and are very enthusiastic that it will become the next big thing. So some might call them quite idealistic. As for ideology, I got nothing. Shipworker, aka Donald. So, he's an interesting character in the way that we can learn a bit about the trade market of the fish. So there are multiple varieties. The lowest common fish go about 5 to 12 coins. Meanwhile, some of the rarest fish go between 60 and 80 coins. And since the value of the fish are based on his personal experiences, such as if the fish bit him or not, and if he's fond of it or not. So we can say that he's an advocate of a more libertarian free market economy. But because he always makes sure that we get compensated, it makes him a materialistic socialist. Sunhat Deer, or Sunny, is someone who can be found on an island. She's a crafter, an artisan of sun hats. Apparently some people had partied there and left their trash, so we help her to clean it up, making her an environmentalist. And we'll wrap it up with an honorable mention. Mr. Crocodile! What if running wasn't my life, but I was actually using running to run from life? That's a troubling thought. Indeed, Mr. Crocodile. Which means you're a postmodern skeptic. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!